The scaffolding says that someone is doing construction on the building, while the vines say the building has been abandoned for a while. There's a lot of detail here, which might not be present in most of the game, but since this is a slow, constricted, highly planned set piece, it makes sense that Ubisoft is able to make it look extra pretty. Lots of vines and leaves that aren't animated, aren't burning. Far Cry 2 had a fire simulation that allowed flames to spread across buildings and plant life, and so will Far Cry 3, but judging only by what we see here, it's definitely not the focus any longer. This fire stays put, meaning that the entire burning building sequence has zero threat or tension to it.
Jason, help! Jason, help me!
Some generic explosions, the blurry kind that don't make any smoke.
There's running water in this place.
This little glowing golden box that we just walked past looks a bit like ammo.
Can't believe there's running water in this place.
Our character acts surprised to see running water in this building, which could make sense because nobody has been paying for the utilities. Maybe the writers wanted to lampshade the presence of running water or simply keep the protagonist talking. We shoot the red, strangely exposed water pipe to put out the fire. This might factor into later stages as a gameplay element, maybe in a way similar to the fire simulation in Far Cry 2, but the amount of scenarios that can arise from water coming out of pipes to put out a flame doesn't seem very numerous, and throughout the game we'll probably see, at most, more of these same scripted choke points. All the surfaces have a slightly doughy, matte texture to them, which is welcome, since most games are slathered in oily, shiny-looking normal maps.
Lisa, I can see the door! I'll smash through it! Lisa, I can see the door! I'll smash through it!
Perhaps one of the dumbest lines I've heard in quite some time. It's even worse when you realize that when we actually play the game, it'll also have a glowing button prompt on screen to tell you how to smash the door. As with the vague comment on the running water, the only thing this really accomplishes is getting the character to talk more.
Definitely not.
Another glowing ammo box. We can see our legs, which is always a neat feature to have in FPS games.
There's fire everywhere. I can't take any more of this heat.
When we get near the girl, the game clearly removes what little control we had and turns it into a cutscene.
Don't worry, I'm here. Stay still.
Oh my god, they took things!
Look at those doe eyes, it's like a Disney movie.
Okay, go. I have an idea.
And now she runs ahead of us. Once again, an FPS based on following people around. This obstacle is hilarious. The girl is too afraid to jump the gap and messes up, but then survives, falling like 4 stories. What's the point of taking control away from the player to show them an obstacle if the obstacle doesn't even do anything? This is the most interesting part of the trailer. The main character gives the girl orders in order to dictate what we don't get to do.
That truck! Lisa, you drive!
What?
Drive!
Okay,
Lisa, you drive!
what?
Drive!
Okay.
In a Modern Warfare game, an NPC would yell at us to get in the back seat, but in Far Cry 3, our guy yells at the NPC to get in the driver's seat. It's a cute trick that's probably going to seem cool to a lot of people.
Oh, damn it, it won't start.
last thing of note is the animation on the enemies that pop out of nowhere to run at the Jeep. A lot of gamers have been comparing this trailer to the Burning Chateau in Uncharted 3, but the one in Uncharted 3 is clearly miles ahead of Far Cry's. In Uncharted 3, there were enemies, platforming, and dynamic environment pieces. Far Cry 3 has red pipes. This is shaping up to be a failure on the level of Homefront, or its soul sister, Crysis 2.